What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are going to be reacting to what we got to hear today from the Detroit Lions coordinators. That includes the special teams, offense, and defense, plus a little bit of Reggie Ragland. Let's get it started.
And nothing's missing. We just got to go out there and just play fucking ball, man. That's all it is. And we just got to stay together, and we can't unravel when things are not going our way. But we got all the daggone pieces. We just got to go play. And excuse my language, but, man, we just got to go play, man. We got the pieces. And people can say otherwise, it's not in here. They say it's this and it's that, but we got the pieces, man. We just got to go show it and can't do too much talking.
You know, I got to shout out DoseOfDion, man, because it was actually the first time I went live on YouTube. And, you know, guys don't know DoseOfDion. He put out a lot of good content for the Detroit Lions.
So I just realized that I forgot to put this news in the video, so I'm going to touch on it first. The Detroit Lions have released Jonathan Williams, running back, off of their practice squad. Jonathan Williams off of the practice squad. I believe he was promoted in week 1 against Chicago, but he is no longer on our practice squad. So it does open up a practice squad spot. If the Detroit Lions are going to try to sign someone to their practice squad, we'll have to keep an eye out for that. But he has been released. Maybe a little bit of a surprise there, knowing that Bo Scarborough may be getting healthier and that he could be back at some point. We really haven't even seen Ty Johnson yet. So the Lions do have the running back depth as of now, and Jonathan Williams has been released. I'll keep you guys updated. The Lions bringing someone else. Now let's get into the video. Welcome everybody to another video. Glad you guys are here. And yes, we have some more press conferences to react to. Now I would say it was I think it was yesterday, we got some other press conferences, some certain players, things like that. And I went through, I watched that video. I do have a couple of clips that I do want to throw in from Reggie Ragland because I felt like he gave the most honest, straightforward answers. And I was like, yes, dude, yes, I love this. So I actually saved those and I'll throw those in here as we go. But we also got to hear from the coordinators today. And here are just some of my major takeaways from what they had to say. I feel like Corey Unlin gave us a lot of good things. Darrell Bevell was sure, and definitely Braden Coombs. So there was always good things in these press conferences to take away. You really have to just listen for certain things, and you really have to just, try to pick out all the little details that you can. And I'm mainly just focusing on the main points. I'm not just going to fluff it up and talk about the entire thing, right? So I just try to take away the key points from these. So let's just hop right into it, man. Let's just get this thing started. We're first going to start off with Darrell Bevell, but before we do get it started, if you guys would like to go check out my gaming channel, DoseOfDion Gaming, you definitely can. I'm working on a project over there that may take a few weeks, but I'm telling you, it's going to be worth it. You guys should go subscribe to that channel where I'm doing films, things like that. Now, let's get into the video. We're going to start off with offensive coordinator Darrell Bevell. Okay, Darrell Bevell, we talked about the offense actually earlier today. That was the first video that I put out today. And some of his answers kind of went to my video, and I was like, oh snap. Okay, well, that was perfect timing to do that video. I didn't even realize they were doing this at 4:30 today. So I'm like, oh, perfect timing. So let's discuss Darrell Bevell first. It just makes sense. Starting off with Kerryon Johnson, he says Kerryon Johnson has been wearing that knee brace pretty much the entire time with the Detroit Lions. He wears that every single day, and he goes through rehab for it every single day, but he doesn't complain about it. He does his work, and he goes through it. They said they like what they saw from him on the field. Of course, Kerryon Johnson came out to a very hot start, and he was big for the Lions, really moving them down the field, getting into the end zone. It was great to see that for Kerryon. Kerryon has struggled for a while. He dealt with an injury the last 2 seasons, so it's good to see Kerryon get out there and make some plays. I always feel good for that guy when he's making some plays, and hopefully he can make some more plays against the Arizona Cardinals. Now, we saw the pick 6 from Matthew Stafford. We talked about it in today's video if you guys want to go check it out. But when Darrell Bevell discussed the pick 6, he said, look, it has to do with every guy. Every guy has an assignment on this play. It's not just one player. He said, basically, first off, the protection needs to be there. We had some missed protection, which I discussed, is that the running back didn't pick up either of the blockers, and it put Stafford in a situation where he really couldn't see downfield other than Danny Amendola, who he said was his read, which is where he threw the ball, which is eventually where they jumped the route and made the pick 6. Matthew Stafford really didn't have an opportunity to go to Marvin Jones Jr., who was the open player. So he said, look, we all need to be better there. Matthew Stafford, clearly you can't throw an interception, but because the protection was not so great, it didn't give Matt Stafford the opportunity to even see Marvin Jones Jr. He had to go to Danny Amendola because he really couldn't see much. I don't even know if he could see the defender that was covering Danny Amendola. So we know about the pick 6. And that was just kind of Darrell Bevell's explanation for that. When it comes to taking the deep ball, again, this one goes right to my video because I discussed the deep ball and how we're taking less shots and things like that. Again, you can go check it out. I did a video of an offensive breakdown. It's called What's Wrong with Matthew Stafford and this Lions offense. It's not like anything super wrong. I kind of just break it down. But Darrell Bevell says for taking shots, it all starts with rushing the football. And I know some people are hearing that of course we need to run the football more. And I kind of break down why I think that maybe they got away from the rushing a little bit. There were some play calls that I did not agree with, but He says it starts with running the ball. We know Darrell Bevell wants to run the football. He wants to keep things balanced offensively. And I think we've seen that. We've seen them go away from it at times. But I also think in the Packers game, a lot of that had to do with getting down, right? Once you got down to the Packers, you were kind of forced out of what you were doing early in the football game, and it really changed the dynamic of everything. Then plus, you add on the pick 6, now you're down by 17. Now, when he brought up what really happened with the offense there, this is crazy because I'm telling you guys, this fits right with my video. But he said, look, we were moving the football even on that third drive. We're at midfield, but it was that flag. It was the flag. Instead of being a 3rd and 10, it was a 3rd and 25, and that halted the drive. And then he said, of course, before our last drive, before the end of the half, we didn't handle that very well. And that, again, was another holding that stopped the clock. It allowed the Packers to have a minute on the clock instead of 20 seconds. They had a full minute to go down and score a touchdown before halftime. And that is the reason I keep bringing up that, hey, it's just mistakes. We just got to clean these mistakes because we're playing well. We are beating ourselves. And like Reggie Ragland also said, which Corey Unlin's going to bring up a little bit later, is it's all your shoulders and above. For the Detroit Lions and for pretty much every team in the league, it's shoulders and above. We're all physically talented and gifted. It's just really the mental side of things that the Detroit Lions need to start clicking. And that's exactly what I see too. I feel like the Detroit Lions are just making mistakes, mental mistakes maybe, that are really hurting them. Just really, really hurting them, especially against the Green Bay Packers. And I think that's why tables turned as quickly as they did. Jonah Jackson, who has been one of the best players so far for the Lions. Like, I'm not kidding. Across the entire Lions team, Jonah Jackson has been one of the best players in the first 2 games. I've seen Jonah Jackson. I've watched, both full games. Jonah Jackson has been really good for the Detroit Lions, right? Jonah Jackson has been really, really good. I don't think he's allowed a single pressure yet. I don't think he's allowed a single one, and that's going against the Packers and Chicago. Chicago definitely impressive. Against, Green Bay, they didn't have Kenny Clark, but still, 0 pressures. You really can't get mad at it. He may have missed some run blocking assignments, but for the most part, he's been pretty darn good to take over that role with the weird offseason as a rookie and start at the guard spot. It's impressive no matter what team you're on. Jonah Jackson has been very talented, and Darrell Bevell thinks a lot of that has to do with working with Nick Williams, and I also think that we felt the presence of Nick Williams not being there. Nick Williams has been a starter so far this year when healthy. He started in week 1, but he didn't play in week 2, and he thinks Jonah Jackson has really benefited from working with Nick Williams from day 1 in training camp throughout training camp. And I think Nick Williams makes a huge, huge difference. I feel like he played pretty darn well in week 1, and not having him in week 2 definitely hurt when it comes to run stopping and getting to the quarterback. And that's what Darrell Bevell, again says that he thinks that really helped out Jonah Jackson. Offense is at its best when it's on tempo, right? When they have that pace, when they have the tempo. I think we've seen this for years. Matthew Stafford, when things are moving, they seem to be more successful. When everything gets kind of stagnant and slow, it doesn't seem to fit Matthew Stafford as well. Matthew Stafford seems to be kind of a guy that, hey, let's get to the line, let's get this thing rolling, and let's keep this pace, right? Consistent pace, keeping everything going. I mean, we know Matthew Stafford when it comes to end of games or 2-minute drills. Usually he's pretty darn good. The up tempo is super important, and that's what the Lions need to keep. It's certain plays can stop that tempo. Incomplete passes, flags, those things kind of kill the tempo of a momentum and a momentum of a drive. And again, those are things that you can't have, especially if you're going to win on the road, if you're going to be a team like Green Bay. If you're going to beat anybody, you can't have those mistakes constantly coming up because it just stops everything. It stops all of your momentum in a drive. Finally, about Kenny Golladay, who also we discussed in today's video. He said Kenny Golladay is a difference maker. He said basically Kenny Golladay on the field changes the way that defense can play you, changes the way that things happen for you offensively. I mean, he opens up other routes for people, and defenses have to look at that and see Marvin Jones, Kenny Golladay, TJ Hawkinson. They have to see all these weapons.
It adds a different dimension. I mean, it totally changes, the way that the defense looks at you, when all of a sudden you have Kenny and Marv and TJ, and Danny and those guys and all those pieces working together. I think it gives you different things that you're able to do.
Good stuff from Darrell Bevell, man. I feel like I agree with pretty much absolutely everything he said today. And it was kind of weird because, again, I mean, this really was similar to the video I made today. I don't know. Darrell, are you watching my stuff, Darrell? I appreciate you. Probably not? No. Okay. Let's move on to what Corey Unlin had to say. I have a pretty good amount of takeaways here, but Unlin made me literally laugh at one point, and I'll show that clip.
What for you also is maybe through the first 2 weeks, calling plays been the biggest struggle for you?
Yeah, we're 0-2, so I got to do a better job. I got to do a better job.
But Unlin, man, he was just 0-2. He was focused on 0-2. We are 0-2 right now, and that was the answer for a lot of things, and I respect it, man, because, hey, you are 0-2, and that needs to be better. So a lot of his questions, a lot of his answers were 0-2, but I felt like he was really good. But he also said this: There's no time to panic. There's no need to panic. We're going to get it fixed. He said, we're going to get it fixed. Time to panic. We just need to push forward. We need to, put blinders on, focus on Wednesday, which is tomorrow, right? Wednesday practice, and then focus onto this Cardinals game and just put the blinders on and say, hey, look, there's 14 games left, all right? We can't worry about the past 2 games and what happened. We need to be focused, as he says, we are going to get it fixed.
14 games left. All right, so let's not panic. All right, let's not forget that we haven't played great. I haven't coached good enough. Let's not forget that. And let's come in on Wednesday morning with the mindset that regardless if we were 0-2, 1-1, or 2-0, that we are going to go forward and we're going to focus on Wednesday and we're going to get the game plan in and we're going to go out and practice and be the best that we can tomorrow. That's it. That's the only thing we worry about.
Now, this is one that I was really curious. I'm glad he answered this the way he did. And he was discussing, blitzing quarterbacks. I mean, that's something that, let me just say, since Matt Patricia's been here, he's gotten a lot of hate for it, especially if it doesn't work right. Because if you're winning, it's like that doesn't come up. You don't question someone's scheme or whatever. But when you're not, all of a sudden everything's into question. All of a sudden everything's fair game. So especially blitzing. Now, like I said, for my count, Lions blitzed 6 times. That means 5 or more rushers 6 times against the Green Bay Packers, which isn't a ton, but it's not bad, to be honest with you, especially knowing they were going against Aaron Rodgers, who you usually don't like to blitz too much. I mean, he was really good against Minnesota when they brought pressure and they blitzed. And against the Detroit Lions heading in this one, their scheme didn't seem to call for a lot of blitzing, and they didn't blitz a lot. And here's what Corey Unlin had to say.
There. And the emphasis for that quarterback is not necessarily to try to blitz him or hit him. You obviously want to put pressure on him, put the clock on him. Each guy is different. This guy this week is different. This guy this week is going to be a challenge as well. So you got to put a scheme together. I got to put a scheme together that's going to allow all 3 phases of the defense, the front, the linebackers, and the secondary to be successful. And whatever that plan is, what it's going to be, then we got to do the best we can to execute it. But I mean, I think every plan's different. Every quarterback's different. You're going to attack every guy different. You're going to play different coverages on different situations.
Quarterback, it wasn't about blitzing as much, okay? You didn't want to just strictly go out there and blitz Aaron Rodgers because he would make you pay. And some quarterbacks, you blitz them, that's a problem. That's worse than not blitzing because all of a sudden they're going to find whatever hole it is. Because blitzing opened up holes, it's really just to outnumber the offensive line, get there quick enough where, hey, look, the defense can hold up. But if you do blitz, there will be holes in your defense. And great quarterbacks, a lot of times, they can figure that thing out. Some quarterbacks can exploit it, and they're just like, hey, man, you can blitz me all you want. We're just going to go off on you. They did have success bringing pressure. They also did have success not bringing pressure. And I think it was really the Lions trying to keep him off balance. Certain quarterbacks cause for different scheme looks. And like I said, Lions, in my count, blitzed about 6 times. And one of the times they even brought 6 players, and they got there right away. I think it was Tracy Walker that made the hit on Rodgers. It was like the first hit in 2 weeks that he's even dealt with. So the Lions did make sense of pressure time to time. Sometimes they blitzed, it worked. Sometimes they blitzed, it did not work. So, like I said, Lions made it work. The one sack they did have wasn't a blitz. They brought 4, but instead they had Jimmy Counts on the inside because they were able to do that because of the situation, kind of what the Packers did to the Detroit Lions. He said now heading into this game against Kyler Murray, he wouldn't tell us what that strategy is going to look like. But again, this is one of those quarterbacks because of his ability to run that you're going to have to probably take a different approach than you will maybe to Drew Brees. Kyler Murray and Drew Brees are going to have 2 different looks, right? Maybe you blitz Drew Brees more, maybe you blitz him less. I'm not exactly sure. I guess we'll find out when I do my game plans and also, well, when we watch the game. Also said, look, if it's 3rd and 2, you guys know blitzing that much won't really matter. He said 3rd and 2, the guy's going to get the ball out anyways because it's such a short distance.
Might not get there on time. If it's 3rd and 2, it doesn't matter what you do. You could blitz the entire defense and the ball's going to come out. You guys know that. So all the situations are different.
I was like, okay, I see you, Corey. I see you, man. As a coordinator, his job is to make sure that the players believe in him. And he said the players backed him up and said that, hey, whatever you design, whatever you bring up, whatever you draw up, we're going to go out there and we're going to execute it. So that's good. You can see the relationship between the coordinator and the coach seems to be very good.
Everything you can to put your belief in the players so that they know that you believe in them. And then you go into the meeting room and you tell them again. And then you present a game plan that they believe in, and that they believe that they have a chance to go out and win the game, and if we can execute it.
And he says the biggest disappointment so far, of course, other than 0-2 and struggling to stop the run, is the turnover battle. The Lions have not forced a turnover in 2 weeks. First game, they had some opportunities. Second game, they really didn't. But he said hopefully we can change that in the Arizona Cardinals game because the Lions have lost both of those battles now back-to-back weeks. And when you win the turnover battle, you have a way better chance of winning. So the Lions did not win the turnover battle in either of the first 2 weeks. They're hoping to get some turnovers because that was the problem last year. And so far through 2 weeks, that has also been a problem this year. Corey Unlin, man, it was pretty short and sweet for Corey Unlin for a lot of answers. I mean, he talks a lot, but it was really pretty simple. Hey, they're 0-2, okay? There's a lot of things that need to get better. We all need to get better. He brought up the whole Tracy Walker, Will Harris situation and said, hey, they want both of these guys on the field. We trust anybody that's on the field. If you're on the field, we have complete trust in you. But what it really does come down to is that we're 0-2. I need to be better, and we need to be better, okay? Because 0-2 is pretty much the answer for anything, right? And I think he's actually right there. And then finally, we got to hear from Braden Coombs a little bit. And Braden Coombs got to talk about Jack Fox a lot. He said Jack Fox has been great. He said Jack Fox, when it comes to punting, Jack Fox has been great. Last game, he kicked the crap out of the ball. That's his quote, not mine. He said he kicked the crap out of the ball. But where he would like to see Jack Fox improve is definitely, you know, on his other jobs, which is things like, you know, holding for the field goals and things like that. He wants to see him improve in those situations. He didn't go into specifics on whether or not that was a problem when it came to Prater missing the field goals, but he did say that's a place that he could see him improve. And they were only 2 weeks in, so he needs to continue to keep it up. And it also takes all 11 guys, because if you get a big return, the punt really doesn't matter because, well, he had a big return anyways. And then finally with Matt Prater, he said that, hey, look, he hasn't lost any confidence in Matt Prater, even though he's missed the 2 field goals. They're long field goal attempts. Matt Prater takes this stuff very, very hard. Prater wanted to kick it when it was 62 yards away. But then, of course, the flag, they made it 57. He missed it. But Matt Prater would have went out there and he wanted to kick it even if it was 62 yards. And I don't know what the Lions scheme was here. They didn't completely give it away. But I'm assuming the Lions were looking at it like, hey, if they don't jump, we may still kick this ball. Because Prater wanted to kick it. He had the distance, but he definitely pushed it way too far right because he tried to kick it so hard. So, man, that's the takeaways that we have today from the coordinators. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, man. I just love hearing these press conferences. I love listening to these. And today is Tuesday, so we're about to midweek. Tomorrow is midweek. We'll probably start hopping on game plans by Wednesday and possibly Thursday. And then I'm assuming Thursday or Friday we'll have our preview out. So that's kind of how the rest of the week is looking, and sure, we'll have news updates, things like that. Oh, speaking of news, I don't know why I didn't touch this in. I'll actually do it in the beginning. I'll do it in the beginning. Let me know your thoughts, comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'm out. I don't know what's going on here. I feel like a weather person. I don't know why I'm holding this either. But look at all these members. Are you kidding me? Hall of Fame, All-Pro, patrons. Look how many All-Pro members. I can't even see the bottom, dog. What? If you guys want to be a part of this, all you got to do is click the join button. It's on the homepage of my YouTube channel. But this is absolutely nuts. Shout out to you guys. This is crazy. I had to bring out my cool shirt for this one, okay? Because y'all are legends. I had to bring out the legends. See what I'm doing?